Hey, so today I'm angry because I think I'm witnessing the end of the United States, or at least the beginning of the end. And when I say United States, I'm talking about our state of union, us being united behind common goals and objectives. Not only are the states diametrically opposed to each other, consider California and, let's say, Idaho or Ohio, for example, or Ohio and New York. Are those the same country? But even within the states, people have diametrically opposed views. There is one group that is demanding that everybody stay home to protect the health of the community. And on the other hand, you have another group demanding to be let out, arguing that it's unconstitutional to be confined in your house, which it's true, it is. And I will point out that there have been many worse epidemics, even in the last only 100 years, without even going back to the Middle Ages, bubonic plague, etc. Even in just the last 103 years, 2 years since the great influenza of 1918. I mean, this is nothing compared to that. And look at how fragmented we are. United we stand, divided we fall. And we are divided. I mean, look at how many groups there are. There are groups that demand that they not be men or women, but some other group. Or several other groups. I don't even know how many sexes there are today. People are fragmented over that. People are fragmented over pro-life, pro-choice. Everybody's got a great slogan. No one thinks about what any of this stuff actually means. I mean, do you really think that when we see other waves of coronavirus, which we're going to see, I mean, when we've been in lockdown as a country basically for 2 months, and there's definitely going to be a resurgence of cases as we emerge from quarantine. Are we going to be forced to deal with another lockdown order? How do you think the population is going to respond to that? I mean, there are people who have been destroyed by this. I mean, let's look at landlords, for example. Everybody's concerned about the renter, and that's a valid concern. But if you own a building and your tenants are not paying rent, your building is not owned free and clear. You have enormous annual expenses. You have to buy a new roof every 10 years. You have to pay property taxes every year. You have to pay for the maintenance of the building, the elevators, the painting. I mean, it is very expensive owning a building. And if you are not getting half of your rent, you will lose the building, even if you own it free and clear. And if you have debt, you'll lose it even faster. I'm not saying capitalists are automatically deserving of sympathy, but all the sympathy is now with the renters. The capitalist class maybe doesn't deserve much sympathy after the last 40 years of excess. However, isn't it something to be concerned about when the government steps in and starts unilaterally abrogating contracts to the benefit of one party or the other? I mean, landlords have basically been left completely hung out to dry. Their tenants have been told you don't have to pay rent. I mean, maybe the landlord and the tenant negotiates between themselves. Prices, I would assume, are going to come down. But it's not for the government to step in. I mean, we are being successfully driven apart. Our real foe is central planning. Just as the Soviet Union has only done well since the old Communist Party blew up with their central plans that everybody ignored. I mean, we're going down that path. How is this even possible? We've seen it fail. We were so delighted at seeing it fail. And yet here we are embracing quasi-socialism. Bernie Sanders, a self-declared socialist, who I actually admire for his dedication to his principles. I mean, the guy's a socialist. If you care to explain the difference between socialism and communism, it's really a question of degree. We are not the same country anymore. It's black against white, conservative against liberal, pro-choice against pro-life. I mean, we are so fragmented and the scariest part is, now that we have a common threat, that common threat is not uniting us. I mean, even in the animal kingdom, when birds are bickering over food, if there's a shadow of a hawk that you play over them, they will act as a group defensively. They will flock together. We don't. Think about what that means. We've lost our unity. If we don't get it back, we're going to end. Please look around and wake up.